It's NTT IndyCar Race Week. We're not to the weekend yet, but we're going to start it a little bit early here. When they raced, we race first, and now it's time for some top split action in the IIS for the 2025 IndyCar iRacing Series schedule. Hello again, everybody. Good evening on this special Wednesday night presentation of Round 4 of the 2025 season of the IndyCar iRacing Series. For the, Wednesday top split broadcast presented by 4D Racewear, as we're in for another real marathon today as IndyCars take to BARBER Motorsports Park for the last big race before the month of May. And it's a marathon today. 90 laps again. That seems to be the magic number for these cars on road courses. So it's going to be a long one, but joining me in the booth that are going to hopefully make me sound a lot better than I normally am, especially after almost 2 hours on a 90-lap road course race. We got Antonio Estrada, the boss, is here. Welcome, Antonio. And also we got Jacob Collins. Antonio, it's good to have you back here again, back off the bench. And now we'll really start the month of May in earnest as we're going to get to BARBER here, get through these 90 laps, and then we're going to go to the Indy and get through the important part of May next.
Hey, yeah, exactly right. Good evening, everybody. Gary, it's great to be here. Jacob's great to have you here, joining us for the call of tonight's race here at BARBER. Man, what a beautiful track this is. I love racing at BARBER. It's a very difficult track, by the way. I mean, it has a ton of elevation changes, some blind corners, especially in the back section, that are going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's very fast, and it's also, a super nice looking racetrack. I mean, all the art installations, everybody now knows Georgina because of that incident a couple of years ago where she fell on track. Well, I mean, we still have the spider there, Charlotte, and a lot of other really, really cool things that make this facility something that looks really, really unique in the IndyCar calendar. It's going to be a long race, 90 laps. I think we're going to see some different strategies come into play. I think both a three-stopper and maybe even a two-stopper might be viable, similar to how it happens in real life. But we'll see. I mean, in real life, they do get cautions. We don't get them here, so it would be a massive save, which might make it unviable. But I don't know. Sometimes these teams find things that one wouldn't think possible, and then they go ahead and do it. In the meantime, we can find Burrell right now went to the top. The 106.1. Jacob, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing a lot of familiar names at the top. You've got Sudik, Berteau, Van de Sant, Manoth. You've got even Logan Spath, who's been showing up in recent weeks. It's a game of experience at the top of the timesheet. But I think the important thing to remember here is that a lot like kind of how the spider kind of reels you in, ties you back up in the web, and sticks you to the ceiling. This place could definitely lure you into a false sense of security once you get rolling out there.
Yeah, we've heard already for some driver intel is that the alternate tires is not the preferred tire. We also heard that the going into the chicane right before the backstretch area, which would be, I guess, turns 7, 8, and 9, right in that area right there, is a little hairy at times. So we're going to be paying attention as we are currently watching qualifications with about 16 seconds left to play here. It's Burrell, Sudik, Boutreau, Moore, and Van de Sant. Real quick, here are your points before we get to a starting lineup. Here are your points coming into today. We got Burrell and Moore really with the big lead. And then it's Connor Parisi, Jaden Munoz, Ty Quilla sitting there in 5th, one of our teammates there. Ethan Morris in 6th, Alex Van de Sant 7th, Hamilton in 8th, Ethan Agan, who's in today's race, in 9th, Will Lyon in 10th, and Will Weiser in 11th, and Berteau 12th, Sudik in 13th, Sophie 14th, and then you see the remainder of the top 20 right there on your screen. Today's strength of field is a 39K, or 3.9K, 39.91.
Almost 4K.
Almost 4K. So it's going to be some valuable points in this one, nevertheless. Remember, there's only 4 slots all weekend long. This is the first of 4. It'll be 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. We're getting ready to line up. Let's get in today's starting lineup. And once again, as always, Antonio, you want to bring us the lineup?
Sure do. On the pole, we can find a familiar name like Jacob was mentioning. It's Kevin Burrell in that fiercely forward entry with a 106.1. Crazy fast time for him. Joining him is his teammate. That's Nick Sibik with a 106.8. They are going to be starting first and second. Row 2, we can find Alan Bradshaw with a 106.8. Joined by Nathan Moore with a 106.9. Those are all your drivers in the 106 drivers in the 106 bracket, and then we start moving to the 107s. It's very tight here. Alex Van der Sand is going to be starting fifth with a 107 flat. Next to him is Dave Menino. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong. He's going to be starting sixth, the 107 flat as well. Row 4, we can find Ethan Aiken, who we know is in the battle for the championship, also a 107 flat, joined by Logan Spat with a 107.1. Again, this section of the field is very, very close to each other. Sofia Canola will start row 5, and she's going to be starting in 9th, joined by Matt Solarski with a 107.2. Then we have Matt Taylor, the Matt Works entry. He's going to be starting 11th. He had a 107.2, and he's joined by Shady Ahmad with a 107.3. He's going to be starting 12th. Starting 13th, we can find Tristan Walker, joined by Togo Hisada. Togo is somebody that we haven't really seen in, our typical time slots that we broadcast, but, that's the benefit of making a special presentation for a Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
He's going to be starting 14th. He's in the number 3 car with 6,800 rating, so, I'm going to keep my eye on him to see how he develops through the race. Starting 15th, we can find Rafael Filion. He's going to be joined by Caleb Bashir, starting 16th. Nigel Honegar is going to be starting 17th, joined by Daniel Nostler. He's going to be starting 18th. Kevin Parish, he's going to be starting 19th. He is the last one of the drivers that actually set a time. Then we have Logan Edwards, who had a couple of spins and invalidated laps on his qualifying attempts. So he's going to be trying to make up for it during the race. Again, long race, so he does have time. He's going to be starting 20th. And in starting 21st, we can find Owen Marshall, joined by Nutty Emil, starting 22nd. And that is your 22-car field for tonight.
All right, full pace lap here. That will impact fuel a little bit, just a tiny bit. But still, it will impact fuel.
Yeah. And, I imagine, like what you were saying, that the drivers were talking about the alternate tire not being the preferred one, that everybody's going to try and get rid of them as soon as possible. I see that pretty much all the field is on the alternate tire, except Alex Van der Sand, who's going to be starting 4th. He is the first one on the primary tire. And then all the way back to Matt Taylor in 11th, and Matt Solarski is going to be starting 13th. So we'll see how things go here. No, 10th and 11th for Matt Solarski and Matt Taylor.
And there you see the current conditions, 70 degrees on the track temperature. Pretty good, 70 degrees ambient, 105 on the track temp. Pretty good track temp out there. Maybe it's going to not to help the red tires an awful lot with high deg, so we will keep our eye on that as well. Getting ready to come to the green, we are passing the pit-in entry road, which is also very dangerous and tough to navigate here. We will be talking about that during the 2 or 3 stops that people do. But Kevin Burrell not wasting any time. He is on it now. Green flag in the air for the next round of the IIS here at Barber. We're getting ready to start the month of May. Oh, Sadiq goes wide.
Ooh, and then he comes back. Bradshaw takes the opportunity there and makes a move. Now they're going side by side. This is a very dangerous section, especially in cold tires. Sadiq does have the preferred lane here. Should be able to stop the bleeding. Ooh, Bandit just really caught in front of Dave Manino there.
Through the chicane. Burrell, Berteau, Sadiq, your top 3. Halfway through lap 1.
And you can see the tire difference here. Ooh, Menino goes super wide trying to go by Anderson.
Sadiq wide again.
Van der Sande wide as well.
Everyone trying to get some feeling into those tires. There you see on the timing tree, Van der Sande with the white triangle next to his name. Solaric at the white triangle next to his name. That means they're on the prime tire. The older, not the older, but the longer lasting tire that should last longer into a stint. Everyone else on the reds for the most part, except for Matt Taylor in 17th.
Oh,
and Brashear.
Chaos, yeah. Chaos in the horseshoe. That's Matt Taylor, Caleb Brashear. Kevin Parrish seems that will, yeah. Shady Matt is super damaged.
See what happened here. Oh, just kind of bust loose under braking coming into Charlotte's Web. And Shady just was a poor victim of it as well. And the 3 car of Togo also taken out. Matt just gets spun around. I think Parrish gets into the back of him. And so chaos down in Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, I think Matt kind of got away with it. I don't see a ton of damage in his car, but still a ton of time lost there.
And a lot of these braking zones are very, very heavy. It kind of reminds me of a lot of the turns we might have seen at Long Beach, where you're kind of getting on the brakes really, really late, trying to trust those tires for all they're worth, like getting right up to where the walls would be there. A lot of tire slide. Sometimes you just lock the rear tires up and you just lurch forward, and sometimes that's all it takes to get you around.
Yeah, it sure does.
Here's 2 drivers that have found success on the league level. Of course, Alex Van der Sande. We see him all the time, formerly of the VOR series, but now we see him more on the open side of things in the IIS. And then we got Logan Spath, the Rookie of the Year in the Elite Racing League's Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series last season, 2024B. He won this season's race at Long Beach. So 2 guys with a lot of success here in these cars, battling out for 5th spot. And Logan all over Alex. Alex on those, taking a gamble on this first stint on those harder tires.
Yeah, you can clearly see that Logan is a little bit faster, but there are limited passing zones here. And Van der Sande gets really squirrely there, Logan. Van der Sande has done a really good job defending. And, well, this time he didn't have to do a lot, although here in 280 is another passing opportunity, but it's very risky, especially this early in the race, honestly. But you can see a little bit of a train forming up behind Alex. I'm sure that's going to change in a couple of laps once the alternate tires start fading, which we think is going to happen soon. So we'll see how that happens. I mean, so far, advantage to Van der Sande because he has been able to manage to keep that 5th position on the least favorable tire.
Yeah, Alex, actually what needs to happen here is Logan really needs to get by Alex and kind of move along. But right now, Alex is just fast and wide enough to keep Logan at bay. That is a 4-car train. That is Alex Van der Sande, Logan Spath, Ethan Agan from the CIS, and David Minot. A little bit further back, Sophie Connell is leading a pack of cars from 9th on back. Rafi Fillion, Matt Solaric, Logan Edwards up 8 spots into 12th. Remember, he started deep in this field. Tristan Walker in 13th. And Daniel Mosteller, hopefully I'm saying that right. He's back in 14th at the tail end of this pack.
They went side by side entering turn 1. Sophia made a little bit of an aggressive block there on Solaris. Luckily they were all able to continue, but that's another train. Everybody's really close together here.
Meanwhile, back up front, leader by a second is Kevin Burrell, Alan Boutreau, who has been upping his racecraft recently and is showing better performance on these road courses. He is up in the second, albeit in a Formula One livery. Come on, Alan. You know we're going to make fun of him about that, but we could get you an IndyCar one if you really need one, buddy. Nathan Moore back in third in his Williams eSports livery and being dogged by Nick Sudik, who has regained a little bit of composure and has run down Nathan. This is a battle of points leaders, but in two different series. It's Nick Sudik, your Open Series points leader currently. And Nathan Moore currently second in the points here in the IIS this season.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought that Burrell was going to be able to just drive off into the sunset, but so far he hasn't been able to shake Alan Bretta off. Last time by, Bretta was actually 2 tenths quicker. This time by, pretty much identical lap times for them. So, it's going to be there is going to be a battle. And, Nathan Moore is there very, very close. Sadiq also very, very close, even with those couple of incidents that, are now in the past. And Anderson with that different strategy, although Logan Spath finally was able to make his way around him. So we'll see how this shakes up. Now, Burrell is going to have some lap traffic in front of him. That's Nutty Ammo was involved in one of those incidents earlier. So, that adds another layer to the complexity of this race.
Just showed you the pass that Logan put on Alex going into Charlotte's Web. So move Logan up to 5th. And actually, Logan is pulling away from Alex. Logan finished on the podium last week in the Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series Indy GP event. Tomorrow, they commence qualifications for their big 500 next week. I'll be me and Luis Gonzalez Nunez over on the Elite Racing Network channel tomorrow, starting about 7:45. We're gonna have we're gonna fill the field. Then we're gonna do a last row shootout, and then we're gonna do a fast 12 for the 14th running of the Revless Photography Indianapolis 500 in the Elite Racing League. Don't miss it. That's over there on the Elite Racing Network. A lot of these same names you see in the lineup tonight will be attempting qualifying, and one of the races that is really hard to qualify for all year long. And we'll be seeing you hopefully in that lineup there, Antonio. Have you got a chance to get some practice in?
Yeah, that's right. I was about to say, come cheer for me. So yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. I have done a couple of qualifying runs. I think it's gonna be tight, but we should be good.
Yeah, it's always so difficult. Of course, the later you go, the better you get with temperature. But if you go in the middle of the afternoon, you're just going to struggle with speed. That's kind of traditionally how the Elite Racing League runs its qualifying for their Indianapolis 500. But it always makes for an exciting session. So yeah, as long as you're getting the practice in, that's the key thing. Because as they say, the hardest 10 miles in all of auto racing are the ones that you make qualifying for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway when you're all by yourself on the racetrack.
Yeah. No kidding. All by yourself, on the limit, flirting with disaster every single corner. But we wouldn't have it any other way. Logan Edwards trying to make a move there on Solarity.
Edwards up 8 spots on push to pass. A little burst down the straights. We got Tristan Walker right behind him in the Alaskan Airlines, livery. Don't they own Frontier? I think they own Frontier, right? So I think
all airlines have merged with each other at some point.
I'm pretty sure they own Frontier. If that's the case, do they charge them like by the tire when they change it, or what?
No. He has a good run here.
Frontier is notoriously cheap. Notoriously cheap. Logan on the move, up, like I said, 8 spots from where he started. And you talked about him in the when you're doing the starting lineup. You expected him to be up moving forward. He did not have. Oh, and Tristan goes wide. Now we have a battle for position with Mosteller. 13th and 14th right here. Tristan gets it back. You were talking about you were talking about how Logan did not have a great qualifying, and now here he is. He's already moved up a number of spots. Granted, right in that first lap or so, right there in Charlotte's Web, we had a big 5-car piled up, but you still have to pass the cars, and he's up 8.
Yeah, you have to survive. I mean, that's half the battle, or more than half the battle. Actually.
And now you know, yeah. Kevin Burrell now out to a 1.3 second lead over Brito. Get you some gaps in here so you can get an idea of where we got battles raging. I think the next closest one is Ethan Egan. He is really dogging Alex Van de Sant right now.
Yeah, so I guess, the primary tires are not that great. I mean, with what we heard, I thought that the alternate tires were going to degrade really, really fast, and we're 11 laps in, and they're still faster. So maybe it's the other way around, that, the preferred tire realistically is the alternate one. We'll find out once the guys start making their first pit stop. But so far, Van de Sant is, trying to stay as high as possible, but kind of looks like the alternates are the advantage right now.
It may also be one of those things where it's the primary isn't that bad compared to the alternate, because typically when you're looking for pace differential, you're looking for kind of that crossover point when the alternates start to fall away, and it may be that they start falling away that the primaries come in just close enough where that crossover point is sooner, or it's close enough together where the time you can save by being able to maybe get a little more fuel save and a longer stint on those primaries makes up for any potential pace difference on the alternates.
Today's race coverage is sponsored by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com. Their link is in the description. Click on it and buy some new apparel. Need some new racing gloves? Get some blisters on your hands when you race? You got to check out their gloves. You can find everything you need right there on 4dracewear.com. Riding over the shoulder of Ethan Egan here in 7th spot. Look at all the elevation changes and slow speed corners this course has to offer. Down the final turn here, blasting down the front straight. Not a very long front straight here. Then downhill into 1. Back uphill again into 2. Kind of 2 is a really long corner, lasts forever before you can finally get back on the power. And this straight right here, heading down into Charlotte's Web. Good passing zone. And then another good passing zone is right out of this. If you get a good run on somebody using push to pass, you can get them going in before the chicane. And here's your chicanes right here, although they don't really follow the road. They just kind of cut the corner.
Yeah. That's a fast way around it.
And
then this section is like, you have to commit. It's very, very fast.
And I think, I think Alex is reeling in Logan a little bit there, the car in front. Oh, getting very wobbly there.
Yeah,
Alex.
very wobbly.
That's one of those things with that back half of the track, too, is you're coming screaming down that back straightaway to a bunch of essentially roller coaster off-camber corners very quick that you can't really see the exit of until you're right up to them. It'll be very often you'll see guys, kind of hop that outside rubble strip coming back over the crest of the hill just because of how much speed you're having to carry to try to woe back up.
Yeah, off-camber and also blind corners, so it certainly is a challenge. I love this track, but those are, it's a really complex set of corners.
Yeah, this is not an easy track, and you heard kind of the community groan all at once when they found out IndyCar made this from 85 to 90 laps, so Scott Dixon could never win here.
and he's gonna find a way to save enough.
You know,
fuel.
this is one of a handful of tracks on the schedule, including Iowa and St. Pete, that he has never won at. Can you believe that? As long as IndyCar has been running here, Scott Dixon has never won here.
It's hard to believe.
It is.
It feels that he's close every single time.
The second all-time leader in wins, only behind A.J. Foyt, has yet to get a win here. And he's still good enough that, hey, watch him this Sunday. Don't put it too far away from that guy.
You know, like you said, Bandison is now getting all over the back of Logan's path there. So maybe this is the, that transition point that we were talking about. Looks like the leaders are still kind of in the same bracket, 108.6, 108.5. So it hasn't affected them that much, but Bandison has found something.
And if we're going to make this a two-stopper, then they need to go another 15 laps before that window opens up.
Yeah.
Now, the three-stop window is coming up here pretty shortly. The three-stop window is going to open right around laps 22 and 23. So we'll see who decides to go to the three-stopper and who is going to go try to do a two-stopper. We did have, I believe, was it last year, someone did a one-stop? It was a really incredible feat.
Really?
I thought, wasn't he at a one-stopper here? Inside in the Charlotte's Web. And we're going to get that position back for Alex VDS, and he gets the spot on Logan. I swear there was a one-stop here. Maybe it was in another league, but a shorter distance. But, yeah, I do remember someone pulled off a one-stop here. I could be wrong.
I mean,
it would be the first time, really, honestly.
Some of these guys and their teams, they play some dark magic voodoo with their setups and are able to do some incredible things.
Little fuel save.exe.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they're really good at what they do, and are able to keep their cars with top performance without burning that much fuel.
Now, your race cheats, you gotta name them different names, though. You can't use fuelsave.exe. So you got to be smarter than that. Name it like scottdixon.exe or something like that.
There you go. Yeah,
that's not obvious at all.
No, nobody's gonna know what's going on with that.
By the way, the qualification track record here is still currently held by Romain Grosjean. He set it back in 2023. The reserve driver. For Prima, I believe, this year. He set the track record with a 105.8 back in 2023. The all-time race leaders here is Joseph Newgarden. That's the surprise of absolutely nobody. He has 3. Will Powell, Ryan Hunter-Ray, and now Scott McLaughlin have won 2. In fact, Scott has won the last 2 here. He is your defending champ.
There's a good battle here between Filion and Solaris.
I can check. Oh, yeah.
Logan
Edwards there, yeah, he very much wants that position. He's still the man on the move. He's kind of stalled out at 8 positions gained at the moment, but he has caught a group of 2, and he seems to be a little bit quicker than them. In fact, actually, Matt and Logan seem to be a little bit quicker than Rafi, who is leading this group right now. Rafi Filion in the red car there.
See, last time by 109.42 for Filion, 109.7 for Matt, 109.6 for Logan Edwards. So yeah, he's the faster of these 3. And now that you mentioned
go ahead,
Grosjean,
yeah.
Now that you mentioned Grosjean, man, I kind of miss him. I mean, I don't miss the cautions that he brought, but I really liked him.
Wouldn't you agree, Jacob, that the Grosjean brings a ton of eyeballs to our sport?
Well, you got to wonder that a lot of the F1 crowd will probably follow him over and tune in. It was, kind of the same thing with a lot of those guys that, came back, even Rossi to some extent, right? Like, even if he was an American that kind of did the F1 thing and came back, that still draws attention. Everybody points out the 90s with Nigel Mansell, with Bernie Ecclestone getting probably the biggest thorn up his shoe on the face of planet Earth with that one. You know, he wanted to win Indy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of participating. I didn't really participate. Here's a paddle for, they're going to bump each other, and Rafi's going to go off course, and he hits the bumps coming back on and he goes a little bit General Lee style. Hazard County's actually to the east.
What a save. He got
nice save.
checked.
He did. I'm going to go back and watch that a little bit. Pow, right there, just at the apex. I think I think Matt sent it a little bit, but he sent it though that you had to take a shot, I guess.
Oh, so something happened to Nick Sudik. Oh no! Oh man. Well, I think it's fine. Yeah, he's fine. No damage to his car, but he's fine coming out of the chicane, so he goes from P5 that he was P4. He was running fourth, right down now to eighth. So not a lot of damage regarding position loss, but
let's follow him around and see what happened with one of our leaders here. Yeah, I was engaging in a Formula One debate a little bit on Twitter. I wasn't. I was basically being told my opinion was wrong, and I'm like, it's just my opinion. Who cares? But yeah, under acceleration. Whoa, very good, and I will say a very gentlemanly rejoin there too. He could have very easily just popped back on the race course there and got out in front of some traffic. But I saw a lot of there's an F1 meme account, an F1 troll account, and they were automatically right off the bat making fun of Larson when he wrecked during the open test. It's like, best driver in the world, whatever, you know, our guy's Verstappen. And I'm like, I would love to see any member of the Formula One paddock suit up, take rookie orientation, and go to the oval. Here comes Nick. He's had enough. He's going to do a 3-stopper. He's coming to pit road right now. He's joined by a couple of others as well.
Yeah, let's get rid of those tires that are, you know, screaming hot after that span.
Logan Edwards also on pit road.
Yeah, and maybe he just shortened it a couple laps. But you know, it's the better call.
Nathan Moore has actually caught up to Alan Boutreau a little bit. Let's get a driver.
Has also cut to Logan Spath. A lot of action. Walker just went by Filion. Oh, gosh.
Watch this down in the Charlotte's Web. Oh, he does a full send, late zone move. And I think he spooked Rafi a little bit. But he gets a big an apex there, and he's going to get a run on the inside. But all of them are literally busy spinning their wheels, trying to get back up to speed as fast as they can.
Yeah, I think those tires are gone now. All those alternates, they are suffering now, and people are blocking. Oh, Filion gets very squirrely.
Yeah, Filion, yep, that's it. I'm doing a 3-stopper as well. He's coming to pit road. The window for the 3-stopper really is opening now. 22 and 23 thereabouts. So those that came a little bit early might need to do a fuel save. We will see. Your leader right now is Kevin Burrell. We'll see when he decides to come to pit road. But, yeah, I said I'd love to see any member of the paddock, Formula One paddock, suit up, take rookie orientation, and get out there. Because there have been literally drivers on the record. In fact, Daniel Ricciardo said during a recording of Drive to Survive that I will never do Indianapolis. It's too scary.
Yeah.
Now, where is your, as they used to say in WWE wrestling, where is your testicular fortitude, my friend?
And I think Verstappen has also said something, you know, in a similar vein. And, you know, it's kind of understandable. It is scary. So, you know, to me, I think hitting the wall is just natural. It's going to happen at some point, especially if it's your second year, you know, talking about Larson. And he needs to find the limit. I think, honestly, that was actually kind of good that he hit the wall, because he's trying things. He's trying to push the car, and the accident that he had, it was really not that horrible. You know, the car doesn't that many repairs.
And they got plenty of time to repair it too. It's not now.
And
If
a
that
lot of
happened the
time,
week
yeah.
of practice going into qualifying this weekend, that's a whole different thing. Same thing for Sato. By the way, that whole chassis
Oof.
into the recycle bin. It is done. That will never ever be used again. So somebody obviously is going to have some parts for their garage that they're going to cherish as they get a used Dallara tub that has a crack that can never be repaired. But
I wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of those parts, honestly.
I would love to set up my rig in it as well. The problem is, I don't know if I can fit in a cockpit. Anyways,
Brecha is spitting, sorry. One of our front runners coming in. He's not going for that two-stop strategy.
And we're only about 6 laps away from that two-stop strategy. There's Brito on pit road. He is up on the jacks. He will, he changes his tires. He's going to go to the alternates. So alternates for his first 2 stints.
Yeah, so that tells me that he felt very comfortable, and the drop-off wasn't that noticeable. Looking at Spath and Menino, they're still going side by side, entering the chicane. Oof.
Ooh, pops a corner, pops those curbs. A little bit of puff of smoke there, a little bit of tire lock. When you're talking about finding your limits and wrecking, although I was in another kind of debate. I wasn't in a debate. I didn't really engage as we watch Minot try to get a look on the inside of Spath again. Some people were making fun of Nolan Siegel. And I said, I don't care what you say about Nolan Siegel. That man has a huge set as both these guys, speaking of set, come to pit road as they navigate this pit road, very dangerous pit access road coming to the pit lane. But remember, Nolan Siegel went out and attempted to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 in a car that he knew was not fast enough. And what did he do? He just sent it, and he put it in a wall. And he put it all out there where most people would look at the car and go, nah, I'm not taking that out there. That's too dangerous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that kudos to him for trying, I mean, it was probably never going to work.
No. It was a long shot at best.
Yeah, even if in the best conditions, even if he didn't wreck while trying super, super hard, I don't think that there was any speed in that car in order to make it. But hey, you never know until you try, right? So, to me, that was great, and I don't really understand how anybody would be against that. Birel is pitting. Yep. I don't think we're going to see anybody try that three-stopper, that two-stopper that we talked about. Ethan Agan, who's inherited P2, he's also pitting. We'll see what Musseler does.
Get some better cams there. Here we go. Yeah.
Musseler is the last one, and he's also coming in. I think, what we were mentioning at the beginning of the show has really come to happen. The two-stop strategy is unviable because he would waste a lot of time trying to make it.
They got close. They might be able to do it with a little bit of saving, but we're watching a Mosteller get on pit road for his stop. He's in a car. I expect you to see you driving. That's a vanilla Coke car. You like to be the Coke livery cars, right?
I used to, yeah. Lately, I've been sporting Pepsi. Imagine that.
Wait a minute, that Mexican...
If somebody from Coke would find about that, remember I would be done.
The Coca-Cola down in Mexico is special Coca-Cola because that's real sugar.
It is. It sure is.
Kevin Burrell just behind Matt Taylor, who pulls over and lets him on by. Car that was in the grass, not sure who that was.
Looks like Kevin Parrish, who has been, with a damaged car for a long time. Oh, he kind of got out of the way.
Got a one-wing angel out there. He's going to try to come to pit road and get that fixed. There he goes. Yep. He'll come to pit road. Now, look at this pit road access road. Is a 90-degree turn at the top of the hill, another 90-degree turn at the bottom of the hill. All the time, you need to take this as fast as possible so you don't lose any positions while you're on the racetrack. Alex Van de Sant, purple lap.
Yep. Now, Van de Sant is in his first set of alternate tires, and I think he's going to go to alternates from here on out to the end of the race. That can potentially change the tire in his favor. He just did a 107.5, and remember, our leaders were doing 108s 108.5s around that. So he's a whole second faster than them. So, that's very interesting. A very interesting development. He's 5.5 seconds behind Burrell there for the lead. So we'll see how that, uh, you know, materializes down the road.
Watching Alex right now. If you enjoy P1's coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series Wednesday night top split and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. We just reached the 1,000 subscriber mark. We want to thank all of our current subscribers. And if you have not subscribed, be a future subscriber. Do that right now. YouTube has changed their AI, the way they do things, and every time I say subscribe and it detects me saying the word subscribe, it lights the subscribe button up on your screen if you haven't subscribed already. So please don't make me light your screen up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's free, and you can do it right now. It won't cost you a thing. And hit the bell while you're at it, so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. 28 of 90 here in the books. Got someone to chat. Jimmy Harvey says, I grew up 4 miles from this racetrack. I remember it being built. It was like, I was like 12 or 13. Saw the first Rolex race here and the first AMA Superbikes race. And also he saw the first IndyCar race. So he really loves. Oh, a little bit of a power slide for the power slide driver. He gets it back underway, Alex Van de Sant. So apparently Jimmy's a big fan of Barber Motorsports Park.
Man, getting to experience so many cool moments, I can't imagine why.
I'm trying to find out where he did that again. I think it was right here.
Oh, Moore is trying to make a move on Alan Bertot there for P2.
Oh, and the fastest part of the racetrack, too, and he caught it.
Yeah, the backstretch chicane, as we were kind of alluding to earlier in the night. You're coming at that thing full tilt, and you're hoping that the tires are going to hold out. And they gave, but he managed to hold on to it.
But that took a little bit of life out of those tires. Maybe his soul in the process as well. You had to catch that. Here's your number 1 and number 5 ranked driver in this race. Bertot, the number 5, but Nathan Moore, the number 1.
Yeah, Moore has been faster than Bertot for the last 3 to 4 laps, and now he has been hounding him. He tried to send it in turn 1, but he wasn't close enough. I can't imagine that he's going to try again after this quick section. You really cannot pass here.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Taking a more shallow line through the final set of corners there in 14, 15. Now down 16.
Try and set him up, yeah. Matt Taylor gets out of the way. Very gentlemanly thing to do. Good run for Moore, but not close enough.
And you run out of room fast on the exit of turn 1 here at Barber. There is not a lot of runoff area there.
Another good run for Moore. Let's see if he sends it entering here, turn 5. Nope.
Not using the button. That's also indicative of maybe a little bit of a fuel save going on. Remember, the more you hit that button, the more fuel you use. Here is the button situation for everybody. Burrell has only used 2 seconds. Bertot 166 more. Hasn't even touched the button yet. Alex Van de Sant 187, and he is just coming into this picture, by the way. He's in 4th. Ethan Egan hasn't touched the button at all. Manoa 182. Solarczyk at 138, so he's used it just a little bit. Spath at 190. Sophie's used it just a little bit. She's about halfway done at 118.
Well, if you haven't used it.
We saw over in and this is a strategy I love talking about. We saw a driver in the Formula Indy Series, which is the series that Logan Spath is one of the admins for, and he runs in. And we saw a driver at their last 2 road course races spam the push-to-pass button to the point that he was out of push-to-pass by the end of his first stint. But by that point, he picked up so many spots that it was a net gain for him, really. And then all he needed to do was, for the rest of the race, just kind of hold people off. That's all he did. And it was
that's smart. It's a way of doing it.
Yeah, 2 races in a row, and the strategy worked out well for him that he got top 10s both races. So I'm like, maybe there is a benefit to just leaving the button on auto fire.
Maury's getting so close. just cannot find the time to or the position to make a move. Like Bertel is having great exits out of the best passing opportunities here.
Great exits and a very wide car, deceivingly wide car.
Just
so anyways,
super quick.
Going back to this Formula One discussion I was having with some of these users. So one guy comes in and says, "Why would someone want to come down to IndyCar from Formula One?" And then he did say that going down to Indianapolis and going and driving IndyCar is a step down. And I'm like, I'm not going to engage. Right? Because that's when you engage. That's when you get into the classic argument. Besides, I have I do about 4 or 5 streams a week, so I can make fun of him here publicly and not have to engage him on Twitter, anyways. But I haven't made fun of him yet. And here's where I'll make fun of him: is that he comes back and says, "Oh, by the way, I do believe Formula One is the better series." And then I looked at his avatar there, and he's like a Cleveland Browns fan. And I'm like, no. Okay, well, then whatever you have to say means absolutely nothing, and it means the color of your favorite team that can never win. Go right ahead. You could keep talking. That's fine. You said enough.
I mean, yeah. What can you say after that? I mean,
well, we wouldn't have everyone's favorite F1 rookie Fernando Alonso giving it a shot a number of years ago, right? I think he even got bumped from the field.
He
trying
did
to
get
make
bumped
the show one of those
by
years.
Kyle Kaiser and a very early form of the Yukos Hollinger team.
Yeah. I'm sure that Kyle Kaiser is like, man, he's going to be talking about it for the rest of his life. I bumped out Fernando Alonso.
I got a chance to do a race broadcast on the old channel with Kyle Kaiser in the lineup, and I got a chance to read the starting lineup, and I introduced him as the Fernando Killer, Kyle Kaiser.
Yeah, well.
Truth is truth, you know?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. I mean, just because you're good in Formula One doesn't mean, as we're watching this battle again between Berteau and Moore, that you're going to get success at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway or in IndyCar racing.
But to be fair, he did. Oh, great run here for Nathan.
Yep, here he goes. He's going to take a peek to the inside. He is on the button now. He's like, I've saved it up, but no! Berteau got a good exit.
I think he got a little bit of help from the car in front. It gave him a little bit of a tow. That was Togo Hisada, who is not slow at all. Nathan Moore has a great run again. They're both on the bottom. He's going to send it.
Send it to the braking zone in the Charlotte's Web, and he clears them. Now he's going to be on the button trying to pull away. Yes, there he is. You see him light up, push the pass. Berteau's not giving up yet. Now he needs to get back in line, gets a single file through the chicane.
Man, that move took him like 10 laps.
And then we'll see if he pulls away now. But just because you do well in Formula One doesn't automatically mean you're going to do well specifically at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Nelson Piquet, multi-time Formula One world champion, destroyed his feet in a crash in turn 4. We saw where Emerson Fittipaldi, first of all, he angered the IndyCar gods by drinking orange juice. And second of all, and because of that, he was leading the 500 and crashed while leading in turn 4, and then giving the win to Al Unser Jr. there in '94. And then, of course, we did talk about Alonso getting bumped, and then also don't forget the oval prowess of Arie Luyendyk and Emerson Fittipaldi. They got the drop on Nigel back in '93, and they passed him for the win, and relegated him even though it was a pretty decent third place, a very disappointing third place for him because he thought he kind of had that thing sewed up for that late caution. So just because you do well in Formula One doesn't mean you're automatically going to do well. You strap yourself into an IndyCar and go to Indianapolis. Now we got a big battle on our hands as Alex Van de Sant's now involved.
Oh no. Sophia Connell had an incident, lost her front wing. She was running 9th. I saw her going to the pits and changing, getting a wing.
Little bit.
back into the throttle, coming to that middle straightaway towards the hairpin, just kind of right before the crest of the hill. It seems like the cars are getting really unsettled late into that on throttle, later than the on throttle time than like initial application. Like it takes a little bit for the revs to build up, and then you just spin the tires and off you go.
Use map 6, drivers.
Yeah. Well, and now we're watching a battle between Brito and Van de Sande. As Jacob is someone that does a lot of road course racing and the road to Indy. You kind of the road to Indy ambassador. We're talking about that in the pre-race. But talk about, even though on the lower formula cars, very similar, they don't like elevation change. They get light at the crest of a lot of these hills, don't they?
Yeah, they definitely do, and it's something that, like, you would think, looking at a formula car, right, you're like, oh, this thing's going to be really, really planted in, like, essentially 90% of cases, right? As long as it's on level ground, you can pretty much get away with murder in terms of throttle application. But it's like, once you get kind of little bit of give in that rear suspension where it's not, like, perfectly level anymore, you're going to get that unpredictable slide left and right, back and forth, you know. Especially the more power you have, like these Indy cars, it becomes even more exaggerated.
Yeah, these suspensions are very stiff. These cars do not like the bend. The floors of these cars, other than where the tunnels are. Here comes Van de Sande. He's going to send it into the braking zone, side by side now with Brito. This is a battle for third, and move Alex up into third. Brito back to fourth. These cars are really as stiff as a board, as stiff as they come, really, and they do not like the bend. And when they do these elevation changes, right here, as a matter of fact, they're just highly unstable. We'll now see if Alex can take the battle to Nathan Moore, but no one's been able to take the battle to Kevin Burrell, your leader now, by 7 seconds.
Yeah, and we were talking about how fast Van de Sande was in the new alternate tires, right? Then he's lead them up and lost a ton of momentum. When we were talking about that, he was 5.5 seconds back or something around that place. He's now down 9.5 seconds. So they're probably not going to happen, at least not in this stint. We'll see what happens once he gets, a new fresh set of alternates in, that Kevin has to go eventually to those primaries. But so far Burrell has done a great job. A very, very calm race, very collected. You know, maybe he wasn't getting that far away from Alain Brito at the beginning, but right now he has built a really, really large gap to Nathan Moore.
And guys, we're not even to the halfway point yet. So let's see. What have we talked about? We've talked about Formula One drivers in IndyCar. We've talked about my kind of Twitter debate. What else we got to talk about that we could talk about here? We got a long race to go.
Let's see.
Well, I think they recently redid the museum down here too, as well, if I'm not mistaken. They have the like vintage automotive museum here, I think, right?
Oh yeah, and I hear it's quite a collection here, actually.
Yeah, a lot of old motorcycle, like racing motorcycles, and probably a number of Corvettes, like a lot of those museums have. But the one thing that really stood out to me is they've got like one of those car elevators with just like floor to ceiling, just stacked with cars. Like you'd see it like one of those Carvana, like a Carvana dealer, where it's just like the big skyscraper thing. Granted, it's not as big because it's in like a normal building.
Oh, the car vending machine. I'm using air quotes, by the way, when I did that.
Yeah.
Vending. Right.
Boys, we got a battle here for 14th between Toho Hisada and Nutty ML. Nutty was a second faster last time by. These are both damaged cars, but
Naughty in the car color resembling something you see from Grand Theft Auto Vice City there. Togo, I tell you what, we've seen Togo in a number of races in the top split here on the IIS, and for one reason or another, he just kind of gets caught up in somebody else's mess, and his performance in terms of his rating. I mean, he's the third highest driver on the racetrack in terms of iRating, but for one reason or another, when it comes to IndyCar, whenever we get him on this top split, he always has a problem one way or another. I'd like to see him have a breakout race with us one time.
Yeah, no, I thought that Naughty was gonna send it. Thought better of it. Yeah, no, I'm not sure I remember seeing Chogo, but I can totally see that because I remember there's another Japanese driver that typically shows up with us, runs a Scott Dixon livery. I'm blanking on the name, but he typically ends up in somebody else's mess, and it's like, man, can we give him a break?
And of course, Kevin Burrell driving from Japan. That's where currently he lives and has a business there. So he is very late in the where they are. I have to find out where I think he's in Tokyo area. Let me ask.
Yeah,
where
I think
Tokyo
he
is.
is.
Tokyo
Naughty
is
has a great run here.
back on that battle.
One thing I will say regarding driver rating is it's very, very easy to inflate your rating if you get really comfortable with a certain car track combo. You can really just pull the numbers straight up, especially if you're, one of the stronger cars in the field typically, especially on road courses, right, where you can kind of set the pole time, and in a rolling start especially, you can just mash the gas as soon as the pace car gives you the control and fly off into the sunset. I was just examining kind of the strength of the front couple runners here, and I believe if I were to have signed up for this race, I would be the 5 car in this session. So not to toot my own horn, and I know it's not a deserved 5,000.
Hey, Antonio, I hear a little flex going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, do you want to know where I would be?
Fourth split.
Yeah, the fourth split that I don't think I think we might have got a fourth one tonight. But,
yeah, we got 4 splits tonight.
I think we did. Yeah.
You can come take me down every week in the USF 2000 on the road to Indy. That's kind of my farming ground, if you will, for getting up that high. I think before the license split, I was just around 3,000, and I've made the slow climb since that split all the way to 5 now, and it's definitely a feat. You got to really go into it every race just perfect, especially when you get into lower strength of fields like a lot of those races tend to be.
It is just before noon. Actually, it's 11:30 in Tokyo right now. We're going to send it in there, watching this battle between Asada and Emil.
Unfortunately, we just saw that Nick Siddiq had an incident, and he's going to be, out of the race. Ooh. Yeah, I just lost it on the crest that you were talking about earlier, Jacob. That section is really, really tricky. Nick had already made his second pit stop, so he was on cold tires.
Oof. That was a lick and a half right there. That is no fast repairs here, folks. That is day done for that Dallara.
Man, that sucks.
Emil on the inside now of Togo. They're still side by side going through the... Wow. Good job.
Is not letting him back. Not to the outside. That's an interesting move.
That's Ethan Egan right behind him. That's the 5th place car. So he's like, guys, settle it up. Settle it up.
I got places to be and things to do, and it's not around here.
Ethan, one of the competitors in the Classic IndyCar Series. Their season is currently ongoing right now after about 3 rounds. They are heading to the Indy GP here next in a couple of weeks. It's over on Green Flag TV. I'll be in the booth for those as well. And he's going to go to the inside of Togo.
And I think going back to what you were saying, Jake, about iRating and that you can kind of inflate it in a way. If you get really comfortable with a series and run it a lot, you're gonna, grow your iRating. And then there's some guys like, for example, Ethan Aiken here, 3,200 iRating, the number 21 car in this lobby, but he's running 5th and putting some really competitive lap times, and that's because, well, he mostly races in lease, right? So there is that disparity that you can find, and that, although your iRating is a good indicator, is not like the only one of how capable a driver somebody is, right?
Yeah, it's very much a sum of the races you've been in and not the ones you haven't. So it's, you gotta put that into account. Kind of, if you could somehow view everybody's race history and see where they maybe have gotten their due from, that might kind of change some perspectives for some people, But a lot of these guys that we call series regulars have rightly earned their big numbers here. Kevin Burrell, I want to say he's close to 8,000.
7,400. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he participated. He was, I think he and Moore are the only ones in the lineup. I could be wrong that were in the Pro Series, which I think the Pro Series will kick back off again later this summer. But I think he and Moore both qualified for the Pro Series. I think.
I believe that would be correct.
And so what that does is it gives you a temporary pro license for a while. Unless you finish in top 10, and then you keep your pro license and you get invited back for the next season. So there's a number of drivers in the community that still have the pro license because they're going to get invited back.
In the meantime, another battle. Logan Edwards and Rafael Filion, they have been together for the last couple of laps. I think they're both in the primary tire, and it doesn't seem like they're enjoying their stint with it. Kind of sliding around.
Oh, Rafael got a good run through the chicane there.
And also you're starting to see a lot of build-up of, marbles around
Flag.
Yeah, and that's going to make it even worse to try and make any moves happen. Tristan Walker pitting in. That's a scheduled pit stop for him. Oh, same for Edwards and Phelan.
Now we'll keep the camera on these guys as they come down to this very dangerous pit road entry. As they come down, these are scheduled stops. They both, Edwards, 24 laps on this stint. Rafi Filion did 23. They are pitting at 46 right at the halfway point.
Yeah, nice pit entry by Logan Edwards. He gained at least a couple tenths on Rafael Filion. Let's see. Remember, they were pretty much neck and neck before the pit stop. Way ahead for Logan Edwards.
Logan's going to stay on the alternate tires, knowing that he has another stop still. Filion has gone to the prime tire.
Interesting, because Filion was already on the primary, so he must feel a little bit more comfortable with the primes. But they were separated by maybe 0.3 of a second before going into the pits. Right now, the difference between Edwards and Filion 2.6 seconds. So that was all on the pit entry. Like you said, it's a very dangerous pit entry, and it does reward you if you're brave and try and make it as fast as possible. But on the other hand, if you mess up even a tiny bit, well, there are walls everywhere. So.
Logan going wide there. As pit entries go, it's this one. Mid Ohio is very bad. Laguna Seca is very bad. Those, and they're all involving 90-degree turns before you get onto the actual pit access, or you're on a pit access road, so you're actually before you get onto the road portion of the pit straight that has the pit boxes on it. That's what I'm trying to say. So you want to get through that slow portion as fast as possible. Some people kind of push it a little too far, especially in those braking zones, and they hit that Armco. And when you hit the Armco in these cars, no matter really the speed, it's day done. I mean, the Armco acts as a cheese grater on these cars.
100%.
Yeah, I believe about 1 year ago, this very race, I was running 8th, I think, in first or second split, this exact slot, and first pit stop, I just little too deep on the brakes, and into the tire barrier you go, and it's over from there, and you just got to kind of hold your head in your hands and go, why did I do that?
That's always the worst part. Like once you realize, like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
And then you realize, it's totally self-inflicted. Totally self-inflicted. No one put you into the wall. Nathan Moore on pit road. And we did have our leader, Kevin Burrell, did come to pit road. He is back out. We missed that pit stop. But Alex Van de Sant pick up the lead.
Yeah, he's on the primary tires now. So let's see if anything changes. We know that, let's see. Well, Logan's Path is also going to the primes. Let's see, Nathan Moore. Nathan is going to stay on the alternates. So let's see if he's able to get a little bit or cut a little bit of that gap that Burrell had built. And we know that Van de Sant, once he passes, he's also going to go to a brand new set of alternates. So, this is far from over, although Kevin Burrell has built a very good gap for himself. 6 seconds between Burrell and Moore right now. That has shrunk a little bit.
Alex coming to pit road. Scheduled stop for Alex. He went 24 on the first stint, 24 on this stint. If you're just joining us, you're watching coverage of round 4 of 16 of the IIS, Wednesday night top split, presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you from BARBER Motorsports Park. We've completed now 50 of 90 laps. We're just past the halfway point. If you're enjoying today's coverage, would like to monetarily support our commentary team, make sure you donate via our GoFundMe link. It is in the description, or send us super chats. You may do that as well. We certainly would appreciate it. No matter the amount, it is greatly appreciated. Bit of a race reset now as second stops are currently underway. Ethan Hagen currently is on the racetrack as waiting for his stop. He's 24 laps into his stint. We expect to see him come to pit road anytime now. Probably this time. Let's see if he heads straight to pit road. There he goes. Ethan Hagen heading to pit road.
He's going to be handing the lead back to Kevin Burrell. Oh, Van de Sant goes wide. Let's keep my eye out on him.
Got to bring those tires up the temperature. Burrell now back to the leader. Burrell back to the leader. Moore now back to second. Alex back to third. Ethan Hagen still on pit road. There goes Boutreau. Ethan Hagen should come out in fifth here. There is Minot. Now, so Minot is not going to get him, so Ethan will hold fifth here. That is your top 5. Minot 6th, Logan Spass 7th. Solarchik. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm a fellow Pole. I'm a fellow Pole. I should know this, but it's not. I wish it was a Latin name, because that's what we have. We have Antonio here for that.
I have been butchering his name. So yeah,
well, that's a Pole name, and I can't. I'm Polish, and I'm as a fellow Pole, I can't do that for some reason.
Well, but Matt, he's right there with Logan Spath and Dave Manino, very, very close together, racing for P6. Logan Spath is in the entire width of the track.
Well, why not?
Goes super purple, 107 flat. Ooh.
Man on the move at the moment. Watching a battle here between, is it Minot or Menino? Dave, let us know.
Menino, but I don't know.
Let us know in the IndyCar Discord, the IndyCar community Discord server. Let us know. We'll make sure to. I am the butcher of names.
I'm leaning on Circuit de l'Edenon for my pronunciation on that one. Would be my thoughts. So that's probably about what it should be. Is like Menino. He might be French Canadian for all we know. They got rid of the club system, but we can still see it in the sim here. Oh,
why is he racing tonight? Isn't there hockey playoffs on?
Well, it appears he's actually from Illinois.
Okay, all right.
But.
And Logan Spratt had briefly cleared Manino But he was like, no, sir, I'm taking that back.
Good battle here. Spath is 7th. Solarchik, we'll just say Solarchik. He is an 8th, or we'll just call him Matt. Tristan Walker in 9th. Rafi Fillion in 10th. Logan Edwards to 11th. He's up 9 spots. Nadi Emmel has been anything but naughty. It's been pretty good tonight, up 9 spots to 12th.
Nice defensive line for Manano there.
And this is a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. All right in a row. And they're all on the button at the same time. Sends it. And Logan sees him, gives him room. And Matt's unable to make that pass, pull off. He's there in that Graham Rahal livery. Actually, the Mobile One livery is actually pretty slick as Logan goes wide in the Clag. And here they come, but they got to go single file through here.
Yeah, no way. You cannot go side by side over there. I mean, you can try, and then a couple of feet later be like, oh, I shouldn't have tried that.
After you pull your car out of the grass that's stuck in the Armco. Yeah. It seemed like a good idea at the time, as you tell your teammates.
Yep. Been there. I mean, not judging.
The internal monologue of keep it pinned will always ring.
In the meantime, guys, Nathan Moore and Alex Vanderson have been flying the last couple of laps. They are catching up with Kevin Burrell.
Yeah, that's right. Moore, 2.5 seconds behind the leader. Fortunately, I got a little lap traffic in front of him. That's Nigel Honegger. I think Nigel probably will duck out of the way if he can find a spot here he can hide. Not very many places here. Here's one of them on the front straight, but he is going to fight for the position. Nathan, a little bit of a waggle down the front stretch, trying to break the draft of Alex behind him. But Honegger just fighting for track position. He doesn't seem to be holding him up too much, but Moore's on the button now. Honegger takes a wide berth this time, lets the guys on by. He tucks back in. Hopefully that will be returned sometime in the future, and Moore gets the track position. So does Alex Vanasat, and they can continue to battle. But that car right in front of him, right there, I'll pan the camera, doesn't have to go very far. That is your leader, and they are quickly reeling him in now. Your leader on the prime tire, second and third on the alternate tire. We have not seen the trade-off yet. They're only 7, 6, and 5 laps into their run, respectively.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Nathan Moore was not really happy about it. He lost around a second riding behind Honegger. Nothing Honegger can do, honestly. Like you said, there are not many places where you can hide. But that brought Bandison right to his attenuator, so yeah. Let's see, last time by 1:08.5 for Burrell, 1:08.3 for Moore, 1:08.1 for Bandison. They're coming.
We got Zach Morris checking in the chat, talking about Martel, who is already out of the lineup, unfortunately, 0 and an 18th. But Zach, I just want to let you know I loved you in Saved by the Bell. That one's going to fall on deaf ears.
No, I did see Saved by the Bell. I'm just trying to remember who he was.
You know that show originally started as a sitcom based in Indianapolis?
No,
it did.
Really?
It did. It was originally started as Good Morning Miss Bliss.
Okay.
And then it became Saved by the Bell, and all of a sudden they're and all the entire cast moved to Southern California.
That's the obscure piece of trivia that I didn't
There you
know
go.
I
I tied it back to Indianapolis. Leave it to me.
Well, everything seems to be stalling out a little bit for these two guys. Last time by, Burrell 108.4, Moore 108.2, and Venison 108.3. So realistically, not a lot of change. If Burrell can hang on a couple of other laps, I think everything will plateau, and that's going to be entirely an advantage to him, because from here on out, Burrell has an alternate set in his pit stall.
Yeah.
You know, the Venison also, but more will need to go to the primaries. So, I mean, there is still potentially a race between Bandison and Burrell. Not trying to discredit more at all, but we do know that the primaries are a little slower, or a lot slower, since we saw that Kevin Burrell lost like a 7-second lead just by moving to those primaries.
You see Alex Van de Sant there in 15, taking a wide apex there, trying to get clean air on those front wings. He is there now on Moore. Takes a little bit of a pump fake to the inside. Not enough room there in the braking zone to get in a shot into one. Going to bring him through, I guess, the version of the carousel here at Barber Motorsports Park. Now down the straight, going into Charlotte's Web, and we're going to outbrake each other into the hairpin and move Alex Van de Sant up to second now. Although Moore's not done.
But he had a great run. Van de Sant did, coming out off of turn 4. So let's see. Now that he's going to have a little bit of clean air, can he reel Kevin Burrell in?
At some point, though, Burrell's tires are going to take over, and there
Well,
Alex
super
goes.
wide.
Alex doing a little landscaping.
Yeah, he's been doing that a couple of times, already this race. He's really pushing.
Trying to cool those tires off by running them through the grass.
Oh man, yeah. Let's not go back to that.
Remember that was a thing?
I remember. And the other battle that hasn't dwindled that at all, that's between Logan Span and Solari. Now that we get a little bit of breathing room to see if Anderson's going to be able to catch him. These guys are still throwing punches at each other. And kind of slowing each other down. Manino was right there with them, and he's so happy.
He's kind of pulled away. There he is. Has a clean racetrack ahead and clean racetrack behind, at least by about a second. Remember, a second in an IndyCar is about the length of a football field, give or take.
Or more, right?
Yeah, it's about a football field, yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of distance. Don't short.
Don't blink. That's what basically, yeah.
And when they're gunning and running 240, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, if you want a good eye-opening experience, is what you do is if one of the days where you could go sit at other places at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, is you get at the speed trap either going into 1 or the speed trap going into 3, and just get as close to the wall as possible right there, and then watch them. And well, the first thing you got to do is not back off the wall, because that's the first thing is like, oh my god, I'm going to back off the wall. You got to stay there and experience that thrill of a mere feet away an IndyCar going 240. The other interesting spot is if you ever get a chance to go into the Turn 2 suites at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and especially if you get high enough, and I mean in altitude, not taking drinks or anything like that. But if you get like on the 3rd floor there, you could actually kind of look down and you could see their hands on the wheel and the position of turning the wheel as they're going through the corner. It's fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I did was on the front stretch, and even there, the speed was crazy. But I'm gonna try that this year, since I'm gonna be there. and go to to the speed trap in turn one. I can imagine that that's a very crazy experience.
Second Indy 500 live for you? Is that what it is?
It certainly is. Yes.
All right,
second.
get to take the rookie stripes off. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacob, you been doing
I
Indy
am.
500 yet?
No. I'm still on the fence if I'm even gonna run an Indy 500. As blasphemous as it sounds, it was fortunate last year when they had the slots earlier in the week. I want to say I ran like a Wednesday night, or no, like a Friday night midnight one. I ran that one last year, and that worked out really well. Me and Clendy shared the track in that one. I was the 32 car in top split. Barely made the field on that one. I think I finished 13th after going a lap down with like 10 to go, getting my lap back. So I had a lead lap finish in my 500 last year. And, it's a long race, man. Especially when I ran it at that hour. I was, going to bed at 3 a.m. at that point. It's such a grind to get your qualifying time up high enough to even stand a chance of making any of those higher splits. And it's an art form in its own right, so you gotta be on it.
What about a real Indy 500? We're gonna get you into Indy for a real Indy 500 sometime.
Oh, I'd love to. It's definitely a bucket list item for me, especially now as I've gotten more in tune with the IndyCar side of things. Obviously, like a lot of people, I grew up watching more NASCAR than IndyCar stuff.
Well, we have Kyle Larson now.
I grew up a fan of the other Kyle currently competing in the Cup Series.
Okay.
So that was kind of my deal, because he was originally, because when I first started racing in karts, my number was 5 because I got my kart when I was 5, so that was just the number that was on there. And Kyle Busch's rookie year was like about the same time, so I just picked up on that. And then when I finally got to pick my own number, it was like, well, everybody runs 3 because of Dale Earnhardt, and I don't want to run the 5 anymore, so I picked 4.
I ran 3. I ran 3 because it was a Penske number. I didn't care if it was Dale Earnhardt.
Well, most people would be like, "Oh, you run that because of Dale Earnhardt, right?"
No. I run it because of IndyCar.
I know that you do, but I'm just saying. Or they're gonna be like, "Oh, are you a Daniel Ricciardo fan?"
No, because I like to race on ovals.
I'm kidding, man. I'm just messing with
Shots fired. Anyways, and you could tell Jacob is thinking all iRacing at all the time. When we were talking about the real Indy 500, he goes right to the fixed and open 500s, which is coming up here next weekend here on P1. We are going to have one of the top splits for the fixed series. Might be the Friday one. I don't know yet. Well, it might be the Friday one. We will be doing the stream of that, and then when open weekend gets here, we will do one of the open races. Be paying attention to the channel. We'll be posting those thumbnails for those events here soon, so you can set the reminder on them. But fixed weekend next weekend here on iRacing, and a whole bunch of events leading up to that, including, of course, we're going to have the Indy GP next weekend here with the IIS. We're going to have that on Friday as well. And then, of course, next week, the IndyCar Oval Series at Indianapolis. Everyone with a critical warm-up race for the big fixed 500. Big weeks coming up here on P1. Don't go anywhere. Meanwhile, back up front, there you see the battle for the lead. Burrell, Van de Sant, Moore. They're all in the same picture now. You got to zoom out, but they're all in the same picture.
Yeah, and I think that they had a theme that Alex Van de Sant had. It's kind of gone away. This is the moment where it kind of plateaus a little bit. Last time by 108.2 for Burrell, 108.4 for Van de Sant. So those alternate tires, they're losing their quality, their speed, and I think Burrell is just very happy right now to see that gap has stabilized. But we still have one pit stop remaining, so a lot of things that can happen, and we know that both Burrell and Van de Sant are going to be going to that alternate tire to end the race.
17 laps.
For 500.
What's that?
I just need one spot for my for the 500. Last year I ended up P2.
So. Oh, you'll get it. I know you will. I know your whole team's been working very hard on it, so I think you guys are all going to do well. My one and only fixed Indy 500 finished 4th, so
that's pretty good.
And I was taking a peek at 3rd with about 2 laps to go, and you know how the track temps are for the fixed 500. I think it was like 122, 123, and it was just too late in the run. My tires were too worn. I was there underneath them in turn 1. If I kept pushing it, neither one of us are completing the 500 miles, and I was going to go from a potential top 3, a certain top 5 to, probably finishing like outside the top 20. I'm like, nah, and I kind of backed out of it. I decided I wanted that nice finish, but I had a shot for 3rd. I was taking a peek.
Smart man.
Hey, to finish first you must finish. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And Gary, you kind of took the jab at me that I'm thinking iRacing all the time. But, as the wise Jimmy Broadbent once said, the cars may be virtual, but the racing is very much real. So
that is 100% true.
And we are at that point in the race that I knew we would get to, where there are absolutely no close battles anywhere on the race course other than what you're watching here. The top 3 are really in a class by themselves. P4 is back about 20 seconds from this battle here between 2nd and 3rd.
And Moore has been getting closer to Van de Sande actually the last couple of laps.
Moore is
inches now.
Yeah, and Moore is a recent acquisition of the Williams eSport team. So we congratulate him on getting the call up for the bigs. He's getting paid to do this sim racing gig now. You know who doesn't get paid? We don't, and we require your donations.
I was about to say something.
So we would appreciate your donations, super chats as well. We do this for fun, and we do this on behalf of the community. We love doing it, but it's all these little graphics and everything you see takes time and money to produce. You can see a few bucks our way. We certainly would appreciate it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring the bell. Give us the old thumbs up to help the algorithm as well. The sad part is Antonio's been in the booth way too long that he knows what I'm going to say next at some point. I'm sorry, man. I really apologize about that.
It's fine. I can imagine that you probably think like, oh, he's gonna come and say this. That happens after I don't know how many years have we been
we did
this,
partial season of 2022. Then the dark times, and then we did all of 2024, and now we're doing 2025. So yeah, we've been.
It's been a minute.
A couple. And a big break. That was unnecessary.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Yeah, but no, it's still a lot of fun. Love doing this.
And we still got some things to look forward to with this car. We still have later this year. We still got the hybrid. Hopefully, we'll get the right aero package for Nashville. So there's some things to look forward to. Yeah.
We just got Portland, so we're going to get a race here, on the actual Portland International Raceway, which I'm really looking forward to to be able to call the action on it. Eventually, we're going to get Hermanos Rodriguez, so and there's a lot of rumors going around that IndyCar might come to Mexico, so that'll be interesting. We know that the hybrid is going to come in. What?
Pato who?
I don't know who that guy is. Who?
See, now you get to get the home game eventually if we get Mexico. That's going to be good for you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Last pit stop. Logan Edwards last time by. Kevin Burrell is seen right now. Manano, Solaric, Spath, and Filion all in. Van de Sande inherits the lead momentarily. That's interesting.
And final stop here for Kevin Burrell as he hits his marks up on the jack. No black flags. Don't want to beat Scott Dixon like he did the Indy 500, come to final pit stop at Indy 500 and go speeding on pit road. No. That's not what Kevin Burrell does, and he's down and away. Safe stop. Day is done for pit road, guys, as he is out and about now, rejoining the field in fourth spot, with the top three still needing to make their stop. Alex Van de Sant has picked up the lead, but man, there's a bunch of traffic in front of him now as he's caught up to Slurchik, and also Spath and Paris are just a little bit up the road as well.
I would pit in right now.
It is what he's going to do. It's a good call. And so does Nathan Moore.
Aggressive pitting from Van de Sant. That's what you need.
Well, he knew Moore was behind him, and if he's not going to be aggressive, you know Moore is.
Let's see where Burrell comes out. Alan Berteau also pitting. Ethan Egan. So that's your entire top five. Van de Sant is out. There goes Burrell.
And that's right. Alex comes out on the alternate tires. Burrell on the alternate tires as well. Moore, he's going to be out on the prime tires. Just as you said he would.
Yeah, I imagine that they're going to drop him after a couple of laps. But the gap is not that big. 2.7 seconds in front for Kevin Burrell. And, you know, they're pretty much on equal conditions. It's 20 laps from here to the end that Kevin Burrell is going to need to be perfect. And we know that he is, you know, easily able to do that. But this is still going to be exciting.
And in case you're wondering, you're watching this, you're not sure, why do they have to change the tire compound? That is a rule. You must change the tire compound at least once during one of your stops. So you could go primes all the way to the end, and then on your last stop then go to alternates like where Kevin is doing right here. He's going to run alternates on the last stint. Or you could start on the alternates and do primes on the last stint like Nathan Moore is. Whatever you think is your best strategy. That is a rule. That's even a rule in real IndyCar racing as well.
Yeah, and Nathan just lost 2 seconds on that lap to Alex Van de Sant and Kevin Burrell, and that's just because of the tire disadvantage.
And here is Alan Berteau. He's in fourth. He's about 20 seconds behind where Moore is. He's going to try to run him down. He has about 110 seconds left of push to pass. Here's Ethan Egan, and he has 200 seconds to push the pass. Now he's using the button. I was getting ready to say, did he forget to map it? Hey, and it happens. It happens. And he is now just used the button for the very first time. He has 195 seconds left and 19 laps to use it.
Well, it's also one of those things that you don't want to instill more tire spin, right? Like,
right.
It may just be one of those things that you held off because you didn't want to, like, punch it on lap 4 and send it into the fence not knowing what the push to pass is going to do to you.
Yeah, push to pass will throw your timing off. It does make you faster. You'll hit the braking zones a little bit quicker. It might mess you up there a little bit. Also, remember when you use that push to pass, it does use more fuel.
Guys, purple lap for Alex Van de Sant. And purple lap now for Alan Berteau. Goes 500 quicker than Van de Sant, but Van de Sant's coming. Last time by 4/10 quicker than Kevin Burrell. We'll see what happens this time by.
There he is. That's that purple speck that you see. Once he straightens out here, you'll see that purple speck come into your picture. There it is, getting closer.
See, last time by 107.4 for Burrell again. Purple lap 106.9 for Alex Van de Sant.
Alex takes it back. He answers, but he's not answering the leader. The leader right now just trying to hold on. Burrell on push to pass. This is a battle between two of the power squads in the community, fiercely forward. That is Burrell, and then Van de Sant on Hyper Slide, which is a private label Team Hype and Power Slide combination of teams. Kind of like if you take Team Penske and Patrick Racing back in the 80s and you slam them together, that's Hyper Slide right there.
Lovely reference. Yep. Pretty much. Yeah, the difference is now down to 1.9 seconds. Matt Taylor, very gentlemanly thing to do. He was like, I don't want to be part of this at all.
He's had a bit of a rough day. He's down 7 laps. He just wants to bring this car home and take whatever damage the iRacing gods give him for iRating or safety rating.
Yeah.
And then curse himself for doing a 90-lap race at Barber. I'm never doing that again. I wonder how many people are actually saying that tonight.
Why did I sign up for this again?
Why am I self-punishing myself like this?
Last time by 107.5 for Kevin Burrell, 107.3 for Van de Sant, so it's starting to stabilize a little bit.
Of course, these are also the same people that will run every single Indy 500 slot next weekend and the week after, and that's, what is that, 4,000 miles?
Yeah.
I think it's
Exactly,
4,000 miles, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm no way.
Kyle Clenworth will be probably taking that challenge. I have no doubt.
I totally see
will.
Clindy. I totally see Clindy doing that.
I think he tried it last year. I think he only missed maybe 2 or 3 of them.
I think he missed 1 because he
was
didn't
it
wake
only
up.
one?
Yeah. He had his alarm set up or something. Yeah. Oh man.
And his body said no.
Yeah, that's enough.
No. It's like it's like the maid in Family Guy. No.
Way low.
Yeah. No. Mr. Clindy, no tired. I hope Wags isn't listening because there's something there for his soundboard, I'm sure. But 15 to go, and we are watching the closest absolute battle on the racetrack right now, as we are talking Family Guy and Clindy in the same conversation. I don't know how that comes up, but Burrell and Van de Sant is your leader, or your lead duo, excuse me.
The gap is down to 1.5 seconds, and Kevin Burrell has a little bit of traffic in front of him, and that's Rafael Filion, who is on the lead lap. It doesn't need to go anywhere.
No. At this point...
I'm sure he will, but...
Right.
Or maybe not.
Ooh, and at this point, he doesn't really want to give up any track position because he's like, dang it, I'm done everything but 15 laps on the lead lap. I don't want to go a lap down. But he's going to go a lap down.
But he does. Yeah, but he does.
And that's so defeating this late in the race. You're like,
Well, that little stunt helped bring Alex Van de Sant a little bit closer. The gap is under a second, 0.8 right now.
And then
getting out of the way.
And then Rafi gets immediately out of the way for Alex, who Alex doesn't have to fight for that one like Kevin did. But hey, that's the sake of being the leader.
That's pretty much like real life IndyCar.
Yeah.
Who was that that was doing it in Mid Ohio a couple races ago? Well, no, not races. A couple of years ago, I think.
Well, Stingray Rob at Long Beach and St. Pete come to mind.
That too, but I'm thinking about the 51 car. What's the red car?
51 would have been one of the Rick Ware with Dale Coyne racing cars.
Yeah, I think so. Well, never mind. It doesn't matter. They don't need to get out of the way. That's the thing.
Right.
And once the leader went by them, then we're like, oh, okay, sure. Then anybody else can go. And that's what's happening here. Gap is down to 0.6. Just over half a second.
Oh, and he gets a good run inside turns 1 and 2 here, right through the carousel. Or excuse me, 2 and 3. Excuse me. Now we down to the braking zone in the Charlotte's Web. Slowest part of the racetrack, down to 54 miles an hour.
And a little bit more traffic in front. That's Logan Edwards, who also is the last car on the lead lap.
Logan has some pace, though, to him. Logan.
And then Tristan Walker, who just went off into the distance, missed the chicane.
Oh, no. He's in the kitty litter. He's up 3 spots. He's in the top 10 now, though.
He was running 8th, So that's unfortunate, but it's a very long race, and they're really Birel gets super squirrely, and that allows Alex Benson to get just to his attenuator. Man, this is getting really close.
Logan's going to get out of the way. Track temp is coming down. It is now 90 degrees. So this tire degradation on this last run is not going to be as extreme. That might fall into the hands of Alex, who is there in 2 and 3. And he's going to take a shot at him here down the straight, going into Charlotte's Web.
0.3 of a second is the difference between these two. Still, Bandison is going to need to get a little bit closer in order to try and make a move, but he's getting there. There's a disadvantage to that, though. If you run right into the back of him for a long time, that's going to bring a little bit more wear to their tires. So we'll see. I mean, and we know that Varela is really good at defending. So one thing is catching. That's one of the old adages, right, of racing. Another entirely different thing is passing.
Passing, exactly. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching P1's coverage, Special Day Wednesday coverage of the Wednesday night IIS Top Split presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you from BARBER Motorsports Park, where Kevin Burrell, our points leader in the IIS and defending champion, currently leads with 12 to go, but he's being dogged by Alex Van de Sant right now going into turn 1. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. Today's race coverage is brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's description. 11 to go, as it is getting tighter and tighter at the front between two of the power teams in the community, Fiercely Ford and Team Private Label Team Hype and Power Slide.
Yeah, and there was a big advantage for Birel regarding the push-to-pass numbers. They are now down to pretty much exactly the same. 67 seconds for Kevin Birel, 62 for Van de Sant. So, this battle is far from over.
Jacob, do you like to do way they changed push to pass from the way it used to be? It's a little bit more realistic now.
I think it works for these longer races really well. I know the community kind of laughs at it with the fixed sprint races that are like, maybe a dozen laps at a lot of the tracks, and you're just nailing the button every straightaway. So it works in certain situations, it doesn't in others. It'd be nice to see if they could kind of balance that out, give it a more realistic, like, overall time percentage, right? So if it's like, they're giving us 200 seconds for a race like this, if we're running a half distance race, maybe have it or something. But I'm sure that's one of those many complicated things that they're just gonna kind of hand wave and be like, well, we've got it where it's at least kind of right now, so we'll move on to something else.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if NASCAR did it, it'd be in there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Don't give them any ideas, Gary. They don't need any more gimmicks.
That's true. But if it's a NASCAR thing, they make it a priority. If it's IndyCar, we are the redheaded stepchild. I'll tell you that. Oh, Kevin sliding through that portion right there as he gets to the top of the hill in 13.
But he was faster last time, Kevin was.
Both on the button down the front straight.
Let's see, 1/10 quicker for Bandison this time by, but not getting that close. Gap has stabilized at around half a second. Breaking that bubble is really tough.
Alex needs to Alex just really needs to get a lot closer. A lot closer. Both these guys undoubtedly have someone helping them, spotting them, and they probably know each other's push-to-pass number right now.
Yeah.
So if you see one use push-to-pass, the other's going to use push-to-pass.
Down to 46 seconds for Birel, 45 for Bandison, and he's going to go wide.
Yeah, that is so tight. He just gets right up to the cusp of the grass there, and you know that he's just inches away in the virtual world from sending it to the inside wall that we've seen a couple times already before.
Yeah, flirting with disaster. But in control. controls chaos.
Now, Flirting with the that was a song I think they played. NASCAR 98 for the PlayStation.
Oh my god!
By EA Sports. I think that's the song they played. I don't know the name of it. I know if I hear it. And the only reason I really remember that game is I worked. Bob Jenkins did the voiceover for it. Of course, he used to be the voice of the 500 on the radio and also at the track, and he's since recently passed away. And I worked for his wife at one of my first IT jobs. He was one of the chief executives, and I remember him telling me about, I did some voiceover for an EA Sports video game, and I was like, it was EA Sports' first time doing a video game. And everyone was excited about it because, back then, EA Sports, if it's in the game, it's in the game, right? So they always made the greatest sports games at the time. Man, that game was awful. But it had a decent soundtrack.
The soundtracks were typically really good for the NASCAR games. I remember NASCAR Thunder had a great soundtrack. NASCAR Thunder 03, if I remember correctly. And but they didn't hold a candle to the Papyrus games. Which,
the Papyrus, hey, this is Paul Page for Papyrus Racing. You're watching IndyCar Race or whatever. That whole bit. Yeah, when you fired it up and you heard this is Paul Page, and you're playing IndyCar Racing 1 or IndyCar Racing 2 from Papyrus or whatever he said there. Yeah, you knew that you're in for some excitement when you hear Paul Page.
Yep.
Paul Page incidentally cut the promo for the Elite Racing League's Indy 500. He did a custom Delta Force promo for him. It is smoking hot. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's on the Elite Racing League's Twitter page. You get to check that out. Of course, I think Chad marked out a little bit, Chad Frankenfield there. He wrote the script, but of course he had Paul say his name. So,
of course. I would do that. I mean, come on.
Well, he did win the race in 2024B last season. So, I mean, I guess you do get some winner's rights there.
There you go.
Yeah, but very, very cool to hear Paul Page doing that for the. And my understanding is that he willingly did it and didn't ask for an arm and a leg or anything. Just knew that guys liked IndyCar racing.
That's so cool.
And those Delta Force promos are the best. Go back late 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s, even into the early 2000s. He did them. I think someone has a playlist of them up. Check those out. And they're called the Delta Force promo because he used the theme song from the Chuck Norris song or the Chuck Norris movie Delta Force. Of course,
man, I remember that movie. Yep.
If Chuck Norris is in it, it was a good movie.
Yeah, let's say that he was.
Lee Marvin. I think that was Lee Marvin's last movie.
It was Lee Marvin, yeah. And I love Chuck Norris, but they were okay. Walker, Texas Ranger. That was a lot of fun. Oh man. Well, 5 to go, and these guys are running out of push to pass, and Van Zandt is getting it super squarely down to 14 seconds. Burrell has 29, so more than, well, not more, double essentially for him.
Yeah, we'll change the. I'm showing push to pass right now in the tree. We'll go ahead and push it back to intervals. Let you know that the closest battle on the racetrack. We're watching one of them right here between Fillion and Edwards.
I think at this point, Alex Van Zandt tires are destroyed.
Yeah, I think this really is in the hands of Kevin. It's his race to lose. But we've seen, people take the white flag lap before and not make it around and get the win. In fact, Alex is one of those. I broadcasted a race a long time ago. I think it was at the Indy GP, and he took the white flag and then goes into the braking zone in turn 1 and doesn't make it out of turn 1. Anything's possible. Of course, Alex is going to love. Alex is going to love me telling everybody that. But
who? J.R. Hildebrand?
No, yeah. Alex. No, J.R. Hildebrand. Yeah, he took the white flag. Why did he?
Man, there it is.
There it is. Oh no, jinxed him.
Man, you certainly did.
You don't have to agree with me. Let's check this out again. Here he comes into the braking zone. Let's get a better angle here of things. And I don't know if he just missed the braking zone again. It's a 90-lap race. And, you know, that's a long time to focus and stare at a screen and everything. And he just missed it. He just missed
the
it.
tires were just gone at this point. And he was still trying to push and push and push and get closer and closer, but the tires were no longer there. It was a great effort, though. I mean, I thought that Kevin was going to just run away with this one. You know, he almost lapped the field or put a 20-second gap or whatever. It was really close. It was really contested, and I'm sure that Kevin right now has sighed from relief of, oh man, I no longer need to do perfect laps.
Looks at his relative, but again, don't repeat the mistake, right? But looks at his relative and gives a little bit of breathing room. But I mean, Alex did a great job at regaining that car, because a lot of people would just mash the brake and that car would slide through the grass into the kitty litter and maybe even further than that. Mm-hmm. The thing is, he needed to keep those wheels turning in order for the car to get any bite, even though it was in the grass. And that was a great deal of control and a great deal of not wanting to, by reflex, slam the brakes. He needed to keep those wheels turning. He couldn't afford to lock them up. So that was good control on him. Now 2 to go for our leader and points leader, Kevin Burrell. So this is going to help him in the points championship. We don't know what the other strength of fields are going to be for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. They could be larger races, so he could come back and participate in a larger strength of field race and get a better net gain on points. But this is going to be a nice little start to the weekend, nevertheless, for Burrell, our points leader and defending champion of the IIS. He was our champion a year ago.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't subject myself to another 90 laps at Barber, but...
That's what separates you from Kevin Burrell.
That's
right?
Yeah, no, totally, 100%.
Of course, everyone, you don't want to do 4 90-lap races at Barber Motorsports Park, and then the next weekend do 4 Indy 500s in fixed and hot conditions. White flag in the air.
It's different, okay? Man, what a performance by Burrell. I mean, I know that we didn't talk about him for, perhaps the first half of the race, because he had kind of checked out and had a, very good gap to Nathan Moore at the time, and Alan Britto as well. But the second half of the race, where he was hounded by Nathan Moore and Alex Van der Zandt, he kept it on track. He kept it fast. He kept doing everything that he needed to do, and that's going to net him a very dominant win in paper. And, also in practice, he didn't put a wheel wrong the entire race. So kudos to him.
Well, we are 1 hour on the East Coast away from starting the month of May. And where he is, it is May now. So this is a good start to the month of May for Kevin Burrell. A win at Barber into the biggest month of IndyCar racing on the calendar. Kevin Burrell, your winner to kick off the month of May. Alex Van der Zandt second, Nathan Moore in third. That's going to help Nathan in the championship as well. He's not going to gain anything on Kevin, but he's going to solidify where he is in the standings. Alan Britto, he is making the final turn here to come home in a well-earned fourth position. And Ethan Egan, a guy that normally drives the very vulnerable and very much like a dump truck IR05 all the time, comes home with the more wieldy IR18 here on the road course and comes home with the top 5. Here comes Menino. He comes home 6th. Logan Spath is 7th. And Logan Edwards, the Logans. It's Logan's run for 7th and 8th. There's an old movie for you. as he's picking up all the clag. It's like it's going to matter. He's doing the Logan weave there. Anyways, Burrell's already punched out, but we will get in today's final stats here.
Biggest mover, Logan Edwards, plus 12. Tied with Naughty Ammo, also plus 12.
And we'll get some replays queued up here. So we want to talk to, we'll get Nathan. I don't know if Nathan will show up, but he is welcome to. I think it's the middle of the night where he is.
Yeah, it's probably, oh man, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m.?
Yeah, I think it's quite the early morning portion of his day right now.
Wow. Commitment. Love it.
Here we go. And here we go. We'll get out of the B-roll here, and we'll get into today's final race standings. Kevin Burrell with a win, and really, it was a lot closer than that 4.5 seconds until the last couple of laps. So really, Kevin, I think, had to earn it down the stretch, but it doesn't look like it. A very comfortable win over Alex Van de Sant, who had many moments during this race, but he brought her home second. Nathan Moore in third, Berteau fourth, Agan in fifth, Menino in sixth, Spath in seventh, Edwards in eighth, Fillion ninth, and Emil in 10th. And as mentioned, both Edwards and Emil, Edwards would be your Luis Gonzalez Nunez driver of the race. He's up 12 spots, but Naughty there, again, very good today. He comes home in 10th and improves 11 spots, so we'll give him a shout out on that top 10. Pisada coming home in 11th, Onager in 12th, Walker 13th, Sophie in 14th, Matt Taylor 15th, Parrish in 16th, Solaric, we're not sure what happened to him, but he is coming home in 17th, Martel 18th, Nick Sadiq, a day that he wants to audit on the schedule. He comes home 19th. Mosteller, hopefully I'm saying that right, in 20th. Shady Ahmad, kind of an innocent bystander in the early stages, out at 21st. And Caleb Brashear as well in 22nd. And we'll get the results off here. And we do have the general in chat. Alex and Nathan are welcome, but we will probably just go ahead and kick off with Alex or Kevin right now. There we go. And we'll bring up Justin Petschauer as well to get a report from his split. Here is Justin, and here is the general, Kevin Burrell. Kevin, a nice win today. Looked close there on that last stint until a little bobble by Alex kind of gave you some breathing room. You had to make your work for it a little bit. We know it's kind of about lunchtime where you are in the world, so congratulations on the win, but Alex didn't make it easy for you, did he?
No, and that was, I mean, you know, at the start, like, everyone around him was starting on alts, and he went primes, and I thought, I was like, you know, his qual gap to the cars behind him, like, I don't know if I would be comfortable starting on primes with that kind of gap around me. Like, surely people are going to make a move. But, you know, starting on the primes and then being able to run, you know, the lower fuel alt stints, I think it actually, I knew that my, like, 9-second or 5-second gap or whatever, you know, after the second stint was, like, totally fictional. And I knew it would come back to bite me at the end. And that whole stint, I was just yeah, I mean, I was pushing insanely hard and it wasn't enough. So I was just hoping that once he got close enough, he'd have some trouble. And I mean, I guess that was it. It looks like he had 16x actually. So he was on the verge of a drive-through.
He did. I'm looking at timing and scoring now. He had 16. So yeah, he was getting there. Well,
crazy.
It's a great start. I know where you are in the world. It is now the month of May. So it's a great start to the month of May for you. Are you ready for the month of May? I mean, we still have the Indy GP to go, but man, I'm sure you have a bunch of races at the Indy 500 planned for sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do IES this year, but there's, of course, the Fixed 500, the Open 500. There's got to be at least one other one that's coming up. So, yeah, I mean, it's at least those are, you know, in the cards. Obviously, we've got a pretty strong effort towards it this time. I mean, I think really this was the last road race that I was kind of thinking about before that. I mean, obviously Indy GP too, but not super worried about that one. I love that track, so I'm pretty comfy there. I think the 500, I mean, I want to say I'm feeling good. We did some running the other day. I was like, yeah, okay, Seth's feeling really good and the team's working on it, you know, but it's not something I feel confident about. So I'm hoping that I could do something good this year, but not feeling great already. So hopefully by like a week or two from now, I'm feeling really good.
Well, shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. I mean, you can't get any better than this to start the month of May. The problem is maintaining that momentum all the way through the month of May, because you wouldn't be the first driver that started off the month of May strong and to end it with disappointment. You know, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat is really the month of May. So I know you're feeling pretty good right now. So let's ride that momentum and get those shout outs in.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, of course. You guys are cruising forward. We were doing a bunch of stuff. I mean, we felt good in open, felt good here. P1 Docs, you know, just everyone on the team, and my parents, of course. I'm sure they're cheering me on with the big foam finger and everything. Yeah, I mean that's about it. And of course to VDS and Nathan Moore, we had that was a hardcore race. I enjoyed it. So you know, the race is only good as the competition you get, and the competition we're getting is pretty fun to race with. So yeah, cheers.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, you guys were all in a kind of a class by yourself. They were by far the best three cars. Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
It is lunchtime, so go get some lunch. Enjoy the rest of your now Thursday.
Yes.
The sad thing is your Thursday is now half over, so that means you're a lot closer to Friday than we are, so that sucks. But enjoy what's left of it. We'll talk to you here in a couple of weeks when we get back on the Indy GP and the Indy 500s coming up.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah. Justin Petschauer, hey man, he is the IIS ambassador. How are your races?
I would have qualified. Good thing I didn't, because the gut instinct was so true. There was death on the other side of the track, past the start-finish line.
Ooh.
Let's just say there was a man, and he was flying.
Like
all in all,
literally off the ground flying, right? Or
okay,
off the ground,
airborne.
Okay.
Barrel rolled, went into the Armco barrier, and then dug into the ground again, and then continued flipping. And then everybody and their mother was trying to check up for a slow car going into Charlotte's Web. 2 cars went off track, and it was just, yeah, that's calamity for you. That's beautiful calamity.
So how'd you finish?
Started 19th, finished 12th.
Not bad.
Down.
Okay. Not bad.
Only moved the lawn 4 times.
Hey, Jacob, thanks for joining and being part of the broadcast. We didn't have Ryan because it's literally in the middle of the night where he is as well, maybe very early in the morning. They did a good job. Your thoughts about today's race here? Watching Kevin Burrell get the win, Alex Van de Sande getting second, Nathan Moore coming home third. Any other thoughts here to start the month of May?
Charlotte was really stringing those webs come the end of it. You had to think that she had it out for just about everybody in the field come the end of it. I think Kevin was the only one that managed to run away unscathed, more or less, with the grass or getting near the wall or the kitty litter, as we were calling it.
Well, I think you're right there. I think he's about the only one that had the spider repellent on, because he wasn't jinxed at all by Charlotte's Web. Tony and Antonio, the boss, is here, and that starts the month of May. So I know that you have a big month planned, whether travel or going to be on a fixed 500 one way or another this month. But we got a couple other races coming up on the schedule as well, considering we got the Indy GP and, of course, the Indy 500K here in the IIS.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of racing for me this month. I'm really looking forward to it. And, first of all, I'm very happy of how that race played out. I honestly was not expecting that much, because Barber typically gets into a rhythm and it's tough to make moves. And then you get everybody super spread out, but we had a banger. I mean, what a race from Van de Sande, what a race from Nathan Moore, and of course from our winner, Kevin Burrell, who didn't put a wheel wrong. So, we got an amazing one this time by, and, very happy about that. And going to the Indy GP, always a very fun race. And that's going to really kick off everything that has to do with the 500. And I loaded a practice, so you're probably hearing a little bit of the 500. But looking forward to that. A lot of racing that's going to happen. And we're going to be bringing a lot of that from P1 Broadcasting. Looking forward to it.
All right, that's it for today. Once again, your podium here from Barber. Kevin Burrell gets the win. As a big win in his way towards solidifying his lead here in the points championship for the 2025 championship. Alex Van de Sande second. Nathan Moore is third. Join us again next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern for round 5 of the 2025 campaign as the teams and drivers begin. Now the month of May in earnest with the Indy GP. Coverage begins around 4 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's 4:00 p.m. Remember, it's a special Friday broadcast, so as always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but not easy. We require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. So the link is in the description, or send us a super chat. We appreciate that too. And donate to our 2025 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your viewing on YouTube during NTT IndyCar Race Weeks. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of today's race. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of other P1's other iRacing programming, including this Sunday, the Dark Horse DW12 Series presented by The Joy of Driving will start their 8th season. Join P1 as myself and Andrew Wood bring you the action of the current longest active running DW12 IndyCar Series on the entire service as they start their season at Kansas Speedway. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. P1's IndyCar iRacing Series Saturday, or actually now Wednesday special top split coverage is presented to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cans. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with the Whiplash Sim Cans. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on X and Instagram. Links you need are all in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links also on Linktree, and you can find them all in the description. So for El Patron, Antonio Estrada, we got Jacob Collins in here. We got Justin Petschauer in here, and everyone else here at P1. I'm Gary Gatto saying all thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Make sure to catch the real stars and cars of the NTT IndyCar Series this Sunday afternoon, May 4th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, or of Indy, the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. That's simply what they call it, but it's the Grand Prix here at Barber Motorsports Park. Follow all the action on your Fox affiliate or on the Fox app. or on the IndyCar Live app if you're outside of America, or just join Mark Janes and the gang on IndyCar Radio on Sirius XM on channel 215. Be sure to check your local listings for the correct broadcast times and station in your area. You can catch us again next Friday at 4 p.m. at Indianapolis for the next race of the IndyCar iRacing Series Friday Top Split. We'll see ya.